In this session, we are going to discuss select class in Selenium. So in Selenium, how we can handle and how we can work with drop-down list web elements. Suppose and on a web page, you have a drop-down list element. So how you can work with drop-down element in a Selenium. So drop-down list you can create in HTML using select tag. Using select tag, you can create drop-down list. Now, drop-down list is a collection of options. So each option you can create using option tag. So here we are using option tag to create an option. And the option tag has one attribute, value attribute. Value attribute contains value information for that option. And here within the option tag, here we are writing some text. That text is called as a visual text. It means the text that needs to be visible to the end of user. That text is called as a visual text, but value attribute contains a value for that option which is used for internal purpose. So for internal purpose, yes, no, you can use value attribute whenever you want to process this select element by using these values. So you can create select drop-down list element by using select tag, and within a select tag, you can use option tag to create an option. An option has one attribute value which contains the value for that an option. And within option tag, we are writing the text that the text needs to be visible to the end of the user. So how we can work with drop-down list element in Selenium? To work with drop-down list element, Selenium will provide one class, select class. So Selenium here provide one class, select class, that is used to work with drop-down element. So using select class, we can work with drop-down element in a Selenium. So let's try to understand how we can work. So here I am going to open this URL. So here we're going to write one script. And now we want to open this web page. We want to locate the drop down element on the web page. And then we want to verify drop down list is enabled and visible, and then verify that drop down allow multiple selection or not. And then we want to get the total size of the list. And then we want to select the option, suppose India from the list, and check that India is selected as an option or not. And last, we want to close the browser. And finally, we want to compile and run our script. Let's now we try to open this URL. So now go to the Chrome. Here you can check here. Here we have this drop-down list. And this drop-down list contains list of country. Now let's try to write automation script for handling this drop-down list. So now we open the Eclipse IDE, and here we create one tester class under testing package. So we have created our project. Under project, we have a testing package. Under testing package, I'm going to create select underscore drop-down list drop-down list tester. We create one class with name. And now finish it. So now my class is created. Let's define our test method. So here I'm going to define our test method. Now we define our test method. So public void select drop-down test. And this is our test case. So now we need to annotate using @test annotation. So we are annotating using @test annotation. Now we want to launch which page on the on the web page. This web page I want to launch. So go to the configuration.properties file, and here we need to change the test URL value. We modify the test URL value, and paste here that URL. Now go to our select tester class. Go to the select drop-down list. Let's we define our select drop-down list tester by extending base test class. By extending base test class. By extending base test class. Now, once we have extended the base test class, so now my basic code gets executed like launching the browser, opening a web page on the browser. Now, what is the next? Now, what we need to do next? We need to locate drop-down element on the web page by using the X path. Let's now we locate a drop-down element. So right click, here we open the inspect. Now we inspect this element. Let's now you can check here. Now we write the X path to select that drop-down list. Here you can check here. Here we have this select element, and this select element has name attribute value as a country. So here we can write an XPath to select web element using @name select name attribute. So now you can check it's selecting how many element? It's selecting one element. So let's first we locate drop down list by using the XPath. Let's we locate drop down element on the web page by dot XPath. Let's we try to locate. So WebDriver, we are using WebDriver dot we have one method find element, and by dot we are using XPath. Now here we passing our XPath. So this XPath used to locate which web element? Drop down. Let's we store in one variable. I declare one variable like web element type. I give the name like drop down. Now, once we have located the web element, now I want to work with this drop down element in a Selenium. How you can work with drop down element in Selenium? How you can work? Okay, before going to work, first of all, I am going to verify whether drop down is enabled and visible. If drop down is enabled and visible, then we can further process. How we can verify whether drop down is enabled and visible? So already we have discussed, if you want to verify any web element on the web page which is enabled or is visible, so we have method is enabled and is displayed method. Let's now we verify the drop down is enabled and visible. Let's now we verify. So here on this drop down on this web element, we need to call which method? Is enable method. We have is enable method which return true if element is enabled, and we want to check whether element is visible on the web page or not. Then what we need to, on that drop down web element, we need to call is displayed method. Is displayed method return true if the web element visible on the web page. Now here we can write a statement on the console. Here we can say drop down is enabled and visible. If this condition is false, then we can write drop down is not enabled and visible. Let's now we can say drop down is not enabled and visible. If drop down is enabled and visible, then I want to work with this drop down element. How we can work? To work with drop down element in Selenium, Selenium will provide one class, select class. Using select class, you can work with drop down element. So let's here we create one select class object. We are going to create select class object. How you can create select class object? You can create select class object just by using new keyword. So select is an ordinary class. Its object is created by using new keyword. After creating the object of the select class, you have need to pass the drop down web element as a parameter to its constructor. So it means this select element needs to work with which web element of drop down list. That drop down web element as a parameter we need to pass its constructor. So let's now we create one select element. So now we go to the Eclipse ID. Let's here we declare first of all select. Now let's we import it. So select class available under org openq.selenium.support.ui package. Let's we declare a select, and now we assign as a null value initially. So we will create select object if drop down list is enabled. So select equal to new select. Now I'm going to create select class object. So here I'm going to create select class object. Let's now we write this comment also. Let's write down first comment. So create an object here, create an object of select class, and pass the drop down, of type, we can say which type web element type, which type web element has an argument. Let's now we pass an argument. So select, I'm going to create select equal to new select. I'm going to create select class instance. Select. Let's now what we need to pass? We need to pass drop down. So already we have created drop down. Let's we pass that drop down. You can check here. Here we have to find out that drop down. So let's now here we passing that drop down list element as a parameter to its select class constructor. Now select class now can handle which drop down list? Now using select class we can handle this drop down list. So now once you have created, now you can perform several operations. Just like suppose if you want to verify drop down allow multiple selection or not, you can verify. You can check it. This is the drop down list. And drop down list if allow multiple selection, if you press control, if you selecting element by pressing the control key, you can check here whether you can verify it's allow multiple selection or not. So this drop down list is not allow multiple selection, it's allow single selection. So if you want to verify whether my drop down list is allow multiple selection or not, you can verify now using select class. So once you create the select instance, now you can perform operation on a drop down list element using select instance. So let's now here verify that drop down does not allow the multiple selection. So if I'm write down condition here, if and now select dot is, you can check it. Here we have one method is multiple. So this method what return? It return true if drop down list does not allow multiple selection. Whether this element supports selecting multiple options. So here you can verify using is multiple method. So whether you want to verify whether drop down list allow multiple selection or not, is multiple method return true or false. If drop down allow multiple selection, then return true, otherwise return false. So let's we call this method, and here we print if this condition is true, then we can say drop down list accepts multiple choice, accept multiple choices. Else drop down list does not accept multiple choices. Okay, so now in this way we can verify whether drop down is allow single selection or multiple selection. If you want to check, yes or no, how many option is available in this drop down list? How many option is available? So you can check here using select class, yes, no, using select class, because this select instance handle which drop down list? That particular drop down list. On that drop down list, how many options is available if you want to check? So on the select instance, you can call one method get options method. You can check here get options method. Get options method what written? Get option method written list of web element. What written? List of web element. It means it written all the options web element. So it written list. On that list, you can call size method, which return the number of element that are available. So in this, it written number of element that are available in this list. So I declare one variable list size. So now in this way, you can specify how many options available in the given drop down list. So now we print here list size plus list size. Now, if you want to select any option, how you can select any option in drop down list? Check here. So in this drop down list, this text is visible to the end user. That text is called as a visible text. And drop down list has multiple options. Each option has a value also that is not visible to the end of user. But with an option tag, whatever text we are writing, that is called visible text, and that text is visible to the end user. Now I want to select any option. Suppose I want to select an option with, suppose option, which option? India options. So how we can select? So I want to select option by sending visible text. I want to select an option by sending the visible text. How we can select an option by sending the visible text? Now I'm going to select the option. Suppose which option I have given? India options by sending visible text. So if you want to select an options by sending visible text, so using select, you can select. On the select, you can call one method select by visible text. You can check here. Select by visible text. So this method, what does? This method select all options that display that matching the argument. It means it select all the options which matching the given text. It select all the options that display text matching the argument. So it will select all the options. So select by visible text. You can pass that visible text. I am passing the visible text India. I am passing that text India. So now it will select an option by sending the visible text. Now, if you want to check whether India is selected as an option or not, how we can check? Now we are going to check that India is selected as an option options or not. Now we verify. If you want to check whether India is selected as an option or not, on select you can check here. You can call one method get first selected option. So you can check here this method what written. This method return a web element. Yes or no? This method return a web element. So first selected option in the select tag, it return the first selected option. So this method return the first selected option. Get first selected option method what return? Suppose you have selected a option by sending a visible text by calling which method on the select by visible text. So it will select all the options which are matching the given text. Now you want to verify whether India is selected or not selected an option. So on that select, you can call one method get first selected option, because this method what return first selected option returns first selected. If option is selected, then it return the first selected option. Now it return web element, yes, no? And on that web element, you can call one method get text method to get the text. If you want to get the text, so you can call the method get text. So let's here we declare one variable as a string. It return a string type value text value. Now we try to print that text value and we verify whether that option is selected or not. So option that you have chosen, which option you have chosen, let's we try to print that option value. So now we can save this and now we try to run this application and verify. Let's run this application. Now we can verify. Now here you can check my test case is failed. What the problem? Let's check here what the problem. So here you can check the problem. Cannot locate option with text India. Okay. So here you need to check. Okay, you are selecting the option by using visual text. You can check here. Go to the drop down list and here you can check India options. Okay, I is capital. Okay, let's make here change. Here I visual text is I is capital. Okay, let's save again and run this test case once again. Now again browser is started, browser is launched. Now you can check here. Now you can check here. Now it loaded the web page. And now India is selected. You can check it. India option is selected. Now which option is selected? Now you can check your test case is passed. And then you can check here. Drop down list is enabled also. And total how many option is available? 248. And which option you have selected? India option you have selected. Now your test case is passed. So in this way, you can work with drop down list in a Selenium. So select class provided by the Selenium to work with drop down web element. So you can select an option in drop down list by using visual text, or you can select a value. You can select the option by sending its value attribute also. So let's now here I will show. Here we have selected the option by India by sending the visual text. Here you can select the option by sending its value attributes. So let's now here we are trying to select the option. Okay, let's now we are select the option. Which option? USA option. USA option by sending its value attribute. So you can check here. You can go to the browser and you can go to the browser. Let's now we go to the browser. Let's we close this browser first. Now let's we close this browser and let's now we open this browser. Okay. Now you can check here if you want to select any value, which value, suppose USA. I'm selecting which value, USA. Or United USA, USA. You can check. You can inspect, yes, no. You can inspect that element. You can check here. So you can check here. Here this is select. You can expand it. There are options, yes, no. And you can check this is the value attribute. For Afghanistan, value attribute is AF. Similar here, you can check here for US, yes, no. You can check USA value, yes, no. You can check here. And now here you can check you can check here. Here we have value USA. Let's now we try to select and we will verify. So here we want to select option by sending its value attribute. If you want to select an option by sending its value attribute on this select, you can call method select by value. You can check here. Here you have several options. You can check it. Select by value, select by index, select by visual text. It means you can select an option in the drop down list by visual text also. Yeah, or you can select option in drop down list by its value attribute also, or you can select an option in drop down by its index position also. So each option has one index position. Here you can check there are several options, but each option has index position. Let's now we try to select an option by sending its value attribute. So you can use which method? Select by value. What the value? I'm sending value like US. And now we want to verify it. So now we want to verify. Let's save it and now run it. This script once again. Let's run it. Let's run it and check here. Now you can check it. Now it's selected. Yes, it's working fine. Yes. Now which option is selected? United States of America. So here you can select an element by its value attribute also. So how you can select? You can select an option. Yes, no. You can select option by sending its value attribute or by sending visual text, or similar you can select an option in drop down list by using its indexing also. So now I will show here. I want to select an element by its indexing. If you want to select an element by its indexing, so you can check here, you can write select by indexing. You can check here, you can use indexing. So which element you can check here? Go to the drop down list. In this drop down list, if you refresh this page, which one is the first element? You can check here. You can scroll down. First country is Afghanistan. So suppose first indexing, I give the index position as a 1. So let's save it and run it and check here which option is selected. Now run this script and check once again. Now you can check here, it's selecting which one? Afghanistan. It means each options having index position, and index position started from 1. So here we have selected which, you can check here, which options? Afghanistan option, you can check here. So here you're using select by index. It means you can select any option in drop down list by using value attribute or by using visual text or by using index. So I hope it's clear how we can use select class that is provided by the Selenium to work with drop down list. Thank you.